The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
All right, Mike Clowney back on the banks of Mossy Creek for three of the final four, starting with a Mars Hill team that is still in.
I should have left that where it was.
It's still in playoff contention. Start us off with a statement about the Lions.
Well, Coach Clifton over at Marshall, they do a fabulous job right now. They're 5-1. Good football team. Good group of athletes. They'll be a good fun challenge for us this week.
Community Appreciation Day here at our stadium. Teachers get in free. First responders get in free. Pastors and church admin staff get in free. How important is it to kind of recognize those linchpins, I guess, to this area?
I think that's something fabulous. I think that we start doing here. When you're out in this community, the people in this community support us, support our kids. It's fun just to be able to go to Walmart and our kids come back from Walmart and say they talk to this person or that person, and just that vibe in the community is energetic. And so for us to be able to, reach back out to a community that reaches out to us, I think is something that's very noble.
Mars Hill lost quite a bit from last year. No more Tice Nelson, no more Jimmy Urzua. Haven't missed a beat. I suppose that's typically the case of a Tim Clifton offense, but it feels like their defense is what is carried them on this most recent run. What sticks out to you about what they're doing on that side of the ball?
It's where those guys, that staff, they've been there for a long time. Coach Clifton and Coach Barnett working together, and defensively, the thing that they do, you could just tell that they've kind of been, enrooted in what those guys have been kind of in that system for a long period of time. They do a good job. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They run to the football, and they got a good physical bunch.
Landon Honeycutt feels like he's been there forever. Sixth among active players in Division II in total tackles. Same deal for tackles for loss. He's got 40 of those through his career. What makes him one of the great linebackers in this league?
You can just tell that he understands the game. He's taking time to learn the game and learn the position, and through that he's able to put himself in position to make plays.
For your own side, got the win against Erskine on Saturday, but boy, did you have to pretty that one up a little bit. How do you use that as a teachable moment? Winning ugly, but winning.
I think that's one thing that sometimes it happens, and the thing that you want to be able to do is you want to be able to finish the game and win it. It's a whole lot more fun to be able to communicate after that. The thing that we talked about even yesterday was just when you lose, you got to deal with the frustration from the loss and then still fix problems. When you win, you get to fix problems. Hopefully there's a little bit less frustration. And so the big thing for us is just going out and making sure that we've got the right mindset, going into the football game to attack, every play from the standpoint that we need to attack it from to be successful.
Offensively, you've talked in recent weeks about establishing the run game. You go against a Mars Hill team this week that has only given up 100 yards to one team. That was Erskine of all teams. What's it take to establish the ground game against a really stout defense, number 7 in the country rush defense?
We've got to be – we've still got to play better behind our pads. I think, we can get lower and try to gain some traction there to be able to run the football, and then the execution part of it. Being able to hit the right gap when it's open, taking advantage of, the opportunities that we create for ourselves. And that's something that we've got to continue to work on as a unit. It doesn't matter, what they've done and accomplished, going into the game, we still have to find a way to be two-dimensional as an offense.
Simeon Thompson's one of the better deep threats in this league. Certainly hurt you last year at their place. Became just the second guy in the last 20 years with a 200-yard receiving game against Carson-Newman. What sticks out to you about him and his skill set, knowing that there's a whole lot of other guys in that receiving corps from Mars Hill who are just as talented?
That's something that they've become a stable of just kind of super talented wide receivers, and we did get hurt a lot last year, going back and watching that film, in game, there are a lot of things going on, but I didn't realize how much they hurt us on the deep ball. And so we've got to make sure that we're prepared, like we're ready to compete. They did a really good job of setting us up on some routes, setting us up outside and coming back in. So we've got to do a good job of playing with proper leverage, understanding that, and then competing when the ball's in there.
4 weeks left, 3 of them at home. Break down the progress of this team as it's gone on this journey. It feels like you've been closer more often than not this year, but still looking. I think the phrase you used this past week was "kick down the door."
Yes.
Break down where this team is.
I think the big thing for us that we talked about, even from the beginning of the season, we knew defensively, a lot of these guys that have been here and been in the system and played for a while, so it's about them really kind of taking that next step defensively. And I think that's something that that next step for them being able to win football games for us. And I think that's something that those guys have taken on as a challenge. Offensively, we've had to adjust a little bit from last year. And so then offensively taking those next steps, so really just kind of making sure that every week we play, perform, execute, better than we did the week before, regardless of who the competition is. I think for the most part we've done that. A lot of the problems we created for ourselves last week against Erskine was kind of in the special teams game. But, those are the guys that handle the ball on offense. And we've got to make sure that, we don't get in a situation to where we're pressing to make plays and we're just playing things, the way they're designed to happen and the way they're coached every single day.
Somebody here of late that sticks out to you is they're making a lot of strides toward the back half of the season.
It was finally good to see Jaden Tullins get into the end zone. He's worked his tail off all season to try to, be able to do several different things for us. Being able to get Jelon Pearson in the game some last week. He's a guy that, has been here for forever and kind of constantly had, a couple little nagging things going on with him. Cade Meeks, we've talked about week in and week out, his development as a player offensively. And then, Kendall Williams, I mean, he's been a good player for us since he's been here, but it's fun to see him just continue to raise the level. It was fun watching Major Williams have a breakout big game last week, playing and doing a couple things different from what we've asked him to do. Jameer Augustine, we talked about last week, kind of interjecting himself into the lineup and is getting to the point to where he started to make some plays, got some things there that we still need to continue to work to clean up. And then, Jet Jones, I mean, you really can't, and then the guys up front, we talked about Jaheim Wilson last week, Ja'Cory Long just continue to grow and develop. I mean, so, across the board, when you're in the big team meeting room, it's just fun to look at a lot of these guys and know that they're taking the proper steps. And then, we continue to do that, and we'll continue to find the results that we want.
Anything else?
Well, I think we've got a special person that works in our office that has a birthday coming up, and she likes throwing us under the bus when it's our birthday, so I think it's time and adequate for us to do the same thing for Miss Mel. Miss Mel, we want to wish you a happy birthday.